decision is an outrage.
This ruling will save millions of children's lives.
This is something that belongs to all of us, and it does not belong to lawmakers.
A woman's right to choose reproductive freedom is on the ballot in November.
We are the Power Generation, and we will abolish abortion.
Again, I think most people are pretty entrenched with what they believe on this particular issue and what ought to happen.
People will be harmed because of this decision today, without a doubt.
Any state or local official, high or low, tries to interfere with a woman's exercising her basic right to travel, I will do everything in my power to fight that deeply un-American attack.
Covering West Michigan to protect and alert you. We begin with breaking news right now.
We do begin with breaking news. The U.S. Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade, the landmark abortion rights case legalizing abortion at the federal level. Tonight, nearly half of U.S. states say they will pass laws banning abortion.
Yeah, this is the ruling that we've been waiting about a month for after a draft opinion was leaked. It comes with the backing of 3 conservative justices appointed by former President Donald Trump. We're looking live now over the Supreme Court, where demonstrators have been gathered since this morning. Some people erupting in cheers celebrating the ruling, others sharing outrage.
Demonstrations are happening now in much of our state. We are bringing you live team coverage with reaction to this ruling tonight.
First, we want to check in with our political reporter, Rachel Louise Just. She joins us live in Lansing with what the High Court's decision means for Michigan.
As of today, you can still get an abortion in Michigan. However, that could change at any point. Abortion is already criminalized in Michigan. That's under a 1931 law, but that law has not been enforced in nearly 5 decades. That's because of Roe, that state law that is already on the books. That would ban all abortions, including cases of rape and incest. The only exception there would be for cases where the mother's life was at risk. It's not going into effect yet, though, because last month the Michigan Court of Claims ruled that the 1931 law cannot be enforced. The ban on most abortions can't go into effect while that case works its way through the state's courts. Tonight, Attorney General Dana Nessel is making it clear she will not criminalize abortion in Michigan.
I will not involve my office in that. And as I've indicated before, of course, neither will I enforce this draconian 1931 law that I think will hurt so many people in our state.
If things don't work out in the courts, it'll be the ballots that most people are relying on here. There is an effort here going on around this rally and around the state today to try and get enough signatures to get the issue of abortion rights onto the November ballot. That's led by Planned Parenthood, and they're trying to get 425,000 signatures. They now have about 2.5 weeks until that deadline. Live in Lansing, Rachel Louise Just.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer has launched her own effort to completely get rid of the 1931 law.
Yeah, Whitmer filed a lawsuit in April asking the Michigan Supreme Court to guarantee the right to abortion in the state constitution.
This afternoon, Whitmer filed a motion again asking the court to weigh in on the case.
This is something that is going to have a massive impact on our lives. And as I speak about it, I am furious. I am sad and I'm angry and I am activated. And that's what I'm hoping other people will respond to as well.
Erica, hundreds swarmed Bronson Park earlier to share their stories. You could hear their cries and frustrations. Now, a 90-year-old state law could make nearly all abortions in Michigan legal. But to be clear, abortions are still available and legal in our state right now. But that could change, so protesters are pushing to put that issue on the ballot in November. Hundreds up in arms today.
The only choice is freedom of choice.
After the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade.
The Supreme Court has made a supreme mistake.
My rights are being taken away so young, and I haven't even got to experience life with that freedom.
Protesters at Bronson Park going on the attack, saying the next steps are crucial ones.
It's about to move forward.
Moving forward by signing the Planned Parenthood petition to take abortion rights straight to the ballot box in November.
Your voice matters. Your vote matters.
Roe v. Wade protected abortion rights in the U.S. for almost 50 years. All that precedent ended today.
It's a public health catastrophe, frankly. This won't abolish abortion, but it will probably abolish most safe and legal abortions.
Justice Clarence Thomas saying overruling Roe isn't enough. His written opinion says the court should reconsider other legal precedents, specifically mentioning decisions on birth control and same-sex marriage. Dr. Ashlyn Kirsten, a professor at WMU, says they're all under threat now.
What Justice Thomas is indicating is that other questions of privacy that we've considered to be settled pieces of law should now be reevaluated. He says, if we got Roe wrong, then maybe we got these other things wrong.
But protesters here aren't giving up because there's still a lot to fight for.
Get out there, make some noise, and vote this November.
The Planned Parenthood signature campaign has just 2.5 weeks left to get to 425,000 signatures to make the ballot. If that happens, voters will decide whether abortion should be legal in Michigan.
When this came down today, take me through your initial reaction. How did you respond to this, seeing this news?
Well, we all knew this day was coming with the draft coming out a couple of months ago. That's why I filed that lawsuit. But still, it felt like a gut punch. This is a really stunning moment in America. Rights that I've had my whole life are now being stripped away from you and my daughters and every generation between mine and theirs. And it's something that's going to be a massive setback and have incredible ramifications across our economy, but most importantly in the lives of women.
I know on a very personal level, when you were in the Senate, you bravely spoke out about your own sexual abuse that you endured. As a survivor, as a governor, as a mother, how does this hit you specifically, knowing that the law that we have in place, this 1931 law, would not protect sexual assault survivors from having to bear the children of their abusers?
Yeah, so our 1931 law makes it a felony without any exceptions for rape or for incest. I shared my sexual assault story on the Senate floor. I was raped when I was in college. Fortunately, I did not become pregnant as a result of that, but had this been the law then, and I would have been forced to carry my attacker's fetus to term. And the most important economic decision a woman will make in the course of her lifetime is when and whether to have a child. 70% of Michiganders recognize that this should be squarely in the realm of a woman who's making the decision with a trusted medical professional. It shouldn't be government. It certainly shouldn't be 6 justices all the way in Washington, D.C., stripping women of rights to make their own health decisions.
I see in you, when you say that, almost an anger in this. I mean, I'm sure you're feeling a lot of emotions in this moment.
I am. I feel terrible for my daughters and for every woman in America between my age and you know, my girl's age. I mean, this is the right to decide what we do with our bodies. It's so fundamental to our ability to participate in an economy, to have a life that we can have a family when we choose to be able to live our dreams. I mean, this is something that is going to have a massive impact on our lives. And as I speak about it, I am furious. I am sad and I'm angry and I am activated. And that's what I'm hoping other people will respond to as well. I was raised by a pro-choice Republican father. I served with pro-choice Republicans. Right now in Michigan's GOP, there are no Republican leaders who are supporting women's reproductive rights. So I want Republicans who are pro-choice and independents who are pro-choice as well to join our effort to protect this right for Michigan women.
Today you filed this motion with the Supreme Court, again asking them to weigh in on your lawsuit. I know that they've asked you for more information, but they've held off on giving kind of an indication on where they're going to go on this. Are you hopeful that this will kind of push them forward to make a decision in this case?
Well, the whole world, everyone in Michigan is waiting for them to do it. So I am hopeful that with the advent of this decision coming out today, that this underpins how urgent it is that they need to take action. And that's what I'm hoping for. I want to be clear for your viewers. We have an injunction on the 1931 law presently. So today, women have the same access to reproductive care that they had yesterday. And that will continue so long as that injunction holds. But there are efforts to reverse it and to appeal that. And that's why this is such a precarious moment. If that injunction falls, we revert back 90 years to a law that will have these incredible harm to women, making it a felony without any exceptions for rape and incest, as I've said.
This week, we did have a Republican representative suggest that we would have, even going further than the 1931 law, and having a 10-year punishment for anyone who performs an abortion, receives an abortion. What's your response to that?
I mean, it just tells you where we're headed. And I think that's the scariest thing. The 1931 law makes us one of the most extreme states in the nation, should that go into effect. And that's still not extreme enough for this Republican legislature. They're already introducing bills to throw nurses in jail for 10 years. Every Republican running for governor has given their support to that 1931 law. This tells you how high these stakes are, and that this is just the beginning. If we aren't successful in this lawsuit or in the petitions where people are gathering signatures, Michigan will not just have the most extreme law, but the Republicans in the legislature want to take it even further and hurt women and medical providers even more.
It looks like I might have time for one more question. I want to ask you, how big of an issue do you see this becoming in the midterms? I know it's become louder and louder through even what we've seen in the primaries, but once it comes to your election in November, how big of a deciding factor do you think this will be for voters?
Well, what I know is that 70% of the people in our state support a woman being able to make her own decision. And so that means that there are pro-choice people on both sides of the aisle. I'm hoping that people are seeing the injustice of what's happening, women being stripped of this fundamental right to make our own healthcare decisions and make our own decisions about our bodies, and will join our effort. This is not over. This is a huge setback, but it's not over. And there is room for everyone who wants to ensure women have full bodily autonomy. Please join us.